Good evening. By the way of introduction, I'm your humble host, Julius Kwano. I'm a student at the University of Liberia reading public health, and I'm also a part of an organization called Health Outreach Liberia. And having to be member of Health Outreach Liberia, I am a research director within the organization. So today we are going to be discussing firstly the establishment of our organization before going to our today's lesson. We're going to be talking now tropical neglected diseases that are very common in Liberia and that perhaps we are not paying attention to. Health conditions that have the propensity to inflict our health services, our healthcare deliveries, and also languish our healthcare seeking behaviors. Well, firstly, our organization is all about decentralizing healthcare services around Liberia, reaching the unreached. That's the reason for which the name Health Outreach is mentioned, and that's the reason for which we choose the name Health Outreach. We want to carry health services all around Liberia by teaching, by using the literal form, and also by implementing the project on what we research. So today we will be discussing about 20 neglected tropical diseases that maybe some of you might just hear of it today, but we will have to break it down to our level so we will understand, so that other laymen outside there will understand what we are talking about. So first on our list here we have the Buruli ulcer. Some of you will say Burundi ulcer is a painless sore that is caused by the Mycobacterium Syrian infection. It is caused by Mycobacterium called Syrian infection, and this disease is a chronic debilitating disease that mainly affect the skin and sometimes bones. What we mean by mainly affect the skin and sometimes bones? This is a sore that can come on someone for, in our layman understanding, a sore that is found on the feet of a person. So this sore usually it don't have that kind of a pain, but this sore grows on the skin tissue as time go forward. But this kind of a sickness you can find it mainly in the Central African region, like Uganda, like Kenya, like Chad. This is where you can find such illnesses. And then second on our list, we'll be discussing the symptom of Buruli ulcer, how it affect human being. What are some symptoms that is responsible for Burundi ulcer? Burundi ulcer begin with a painless nodules and swelling, like I previously said, a sore that has no pain, but it is a very massive sore that comes on the human legs and sometimes affect the bone and also inflict for the bone marrow to not function perfectly, usually on the arms and legs and sometimes on other parts of the body. These areas can be then develop into large ulcer with a white and yellowy base. You see the white, the baseline of the sore, which have to be when it's, in our layman understanding, some people who cannot understand the high language, we have to break it down to them, because this is health outreach, better health, better life, health outreach, health for all, health for one. So we have to break it down to the level of our listeners. Although we are universitarian, we have to speak some terms, but mind you, we have to.
We are universitarians.
we have to break it down to our levels so that we can be able to understand our lesson better. So having said that, when they sew on your foot, that also is painless. They sew on your foot already is painless. So at the baseline, which have to be the end point of the sew, where you see maybe the sew is round or maybe the sew is long, it's in square form or whatsoever shape. But the baseline, you will see some yellowish white or yellowish color there. And then you should know that bacteria they call Mycobacteria ossirian. Mycobacteria ossirian is the bacteria that is responsible for Buruli ulcer. It produces the toxin macrolactone. When I say toxin, are the bad material then that you can excrete into your skin cell that also help to proliferate. When I say proliferate, it's there to destroy the skin cell, the skin tissue, the epithelial tissue, the first, the black color that up now, the first color now we call it the epithelial tissue on the skin. So when you destroy that part, then it will has its own local immunosuppressive property, which means it will settle in your skin. It will create a protein code that any ingredient come from your body, from your circulatory system, that will carry the ingredient all part of your cell, because every skin that on your body stand to benefit from every nutrient that you intake. So it will have its own immunosuppressive property that will absorb all of your nutrients, and also if you put medicine on it, the medicine will bounce back because it get its own immunosuppressive properties. When they say immune, it means something that can resist something from occurring. We use the word immune. So we go to the treatment. The treatment of Buruli ulcer. How can you get rid of Buruli ulcer if you get it? Firstly, when we define what Buruli ulcers was. We say Buruli ulcers is a Mycobacterium ossirian debilitating disease that may affect the leg or the bone. So we go to the treatment. So the treatment of Buruli ulcer, it have to consist of the combination of antibiotic and complementary treatment. What I mean by complementary treatment? Some of us in Liberia, we already know what we mean when we say antibiotic. When we talk about antibiotic, is something we say in the layman understanding against bacteria, something that against bacteria, something against bacterial infection. So that's what we call it antibiotic. And that antibiotic, we know it to be maybe erythromycin, ampicillin, amoxicillin, tetracycline. All of them, they are antibiotics. They're the doxycycline. You just name it. They are antibiotics, and they fight against those bacteria. And those bacteria, the antibiotic, when you inject the antibiotic within yourself, whether it have to be infusion, intravenous, intramuscular, or you have to take the tablet, you intake it will fight against this bacteria. But when I say complementary, say you must add another medicine to it to help support the antibiotic in order for you to get rid of the Buruli ulcer. So some of the antibiotic like you're supposed to take when you get Buruli ulcer, some of the antibiotic, I'm coming to name them to you so you can know them. The current WHO recommendation are: number 1, rifampicin 10 milligram per body weight. You must know your body weight before you take 10 milligram rifampicin. You can be dry, I must say, yeah. Then you go you take medicine and more than your body weight, because we get something they call body mass index, a BMI. You have to go and do your body mass index, and then the physician or the dispenser will tell you now how many milligram of this rifampicin you have to take every day in order to complete your dose. Then The white people discuss another one we call clarithromycin. Clarithromycin is another form of antibiotic that can fight against this brulee also. So you must use 7.5 milligram per body weight twice a day. All depends on the way I say it first. So people who cannot really understand, although I wanted to put this in a standard English, but I'm doing this video because we are health outreach. Don't forget to know, health for one, health for all. Better health, better life. Health outreach. So we proceed. The treatment guidance for health workers can be found in the WHO publication treatment. So if you want to really go on and do your research on the 2 medicines that are listed here that can treat brulee also, you can go on the research. You can go to WHO website and you go to neglected tropical disease and you will see those medicine, and then all the things that we're talking about here, you see them inside. So we go on. We go to the next neglected tropical disease. We call it one Chaga disease. American trypanosomiasis is the sleeping sickness. Now we're talking about the African sleeping sickness. So we're talking about Chaga disease, American trypanosomiasis. They won't can only affect people in the western region, the people that on a side. But I say it can happen in Liberia. It can happen in Liberia. It's possible that it can happen anywhere. So Chaga disease, by definition, Chaga disease, also known as American trypanosomiasis, is a potentially life-threatening illness caused by the protozoan parasite Trypanosoma cruzi. Trypanosoma cruzi. You know, Trypanosoma cruzi is the bacteria that is associated with Chaga disease. So when this bacteria is within your body, then you should know that you are at high risk of being Chaga disease positive. So WHO estimated 6 to 7 million people worldwide are infected with Trypanosoma cruzi, which is Chaga disease. Maybe some people, they are just hearing this, but it's for the benefit of us young people to educate our nation. As we are learning these things, we need to disseminate information so that our people can learn from it, so that when they go to the hospital or clinic to have them treated for those diseases, they will not be novices to those diseases. They will know what are some of the remedies to cut off those diseases. So we move. Chaga disease was once entirely confined to the region of the Americas. Like I previously said, it only happened to people from America, maybe people in the West Indies, from the Americas. In the last decades, the epidemiological pattern, which means when we say epidemiological pattern, we're talking about the frequency, the distribution, the mortality, what is all involved with Chaga disease. That's what we call the epidemiological pattern of the disease change from a rural to a mostly urban disease. You see, it comes from where people settle and then go all the way down to the city, from the rural side to the city. So one minute. We go to the symptoms, the signs and symptoms that is consistent in making Chaga disease or life-threatening disease. When you see those signs, you will know. After the transmission, the infection is transmitted, there is an initial acute phase that lasts for about 2 months. Initial acute phase that lasts for about 2 months. In most cases, symptoms are absent or mild and unspecific. So in some cases, like they are saying here, the symptoms, they are mild, they are absent. Sometimes you can see, sometimes you don't know which one of the symptoms that you have. You may have the fever, you don't know whether you have Shaka disease. So sometimes the symptoms can be specific. This unspecific, because the symptom sometimes cannot be specific, which means you are in doubt whether you have Shaka disease or another disease condition. And then in people bitten by a triatomine bug. This bug is the one that carried the Trypanosoma cruzi. Mind you, we got an agent, we got a pathogen, and we got an illness. The agent is triatomine bug. The pathogen is Trypanosoma cruzi. The illness is Shaka disease or American trypanosomiasis. So when you are bitten by this bug, there are characteristics that are firstly visible of sign of infection, such as the skin lesion or a purplish swelling. You see sometimes your skin looking almost like purple when it bites you. When you are being bitten by this triatomine bug, you see a purplish skin rash coming on your skin, and then your skin will start to swell, and then the lids on the eye, which means the eye will have some lids, and then headache, enlarged lymph gland, which have to be the lymphatic system, the enlarged, and then the pallor muscle pain. You feel some fatigue in your muscle, difficulty in breathing, swelling, and abdominal or chest pain. Like I previously said, the symptom of Shaka disease sometimes they are unspecific. You don't know the specific infection it comes when you are bitten by the triatomine bug. This triatomine bug, mind you, like I told you, we have three different ways. We have the pathogen, the agent, and then the illness. So the agent is the triatomine bug. The pathogen is the Trypanosoma cruzi. The illness is Shaka disease / trypanosomiasis, American trypanosomiasis, or we can say American sleepy sickness. So we go to the treatment. How can one treat Shaka disease when they are being infected by such life-threatening condition? Health outreach. Better health, better life. Health for one, health for all. Health outreach. Stay tuned as we go to the treatment of Shaka disease. In our reading, in our findings here, like I told you from the onset, I'm a research director, Health Outreach Liberia, and we are here to discuss 20 tropical neglected diseases that poses a life-threatening condition to our people. So in this light, we do not provide treatment. We do not treat. As a public health practitioner, one of our ethics, we do not treat. As an epidemiologist, you do not treat. But you give information, you give historicity of the said diseases. Treatment is being done by the clinicians, the doctors, the nurses, the physicians. Health outreach. One health for all. Chaga disease can be treated with two antiparasitic medicine. When we say antiparasitic, this is a big word. Antiparasitic. Let us divide them into subdivision. The word anti means against. Parasite, it means things that depend on us for food as host. If I'm depending on something for food, I become a parasite and that person become a host. So they say antiparasitic medicine. So they say that in this light, antiparasitics have to do with against parasite, which is the benindazole. Benindazole, you can really find it commonly in just those pharmacies around here. Benindazole and Nifotimox. Nifotimox, if you go to Lucky Pharmacy, you go to Bonte Pharmacy, you go to Winners Pharmacy, you go to Redemption Pharmacy, you go to many of the pharmacies around Liberia, you'll find Nifotimox and Benindazole. So, having been